Chosen soul, stop everything you are doing right now and pay attention, because this moment that is happening between you and this message is not a coincidence. It is not the fruit of chance, and it will never repeat itself in the same form ever again. And what is about to be revealed here carries a weight that goes beyond words, beyond logic, beyond any explanation that your rational mind could try to construct in this exact instant. Something much greater than you and than everything around you has led you here. And this calling has arrived now because the time was right, because you were ready, because your soul has finally reached the level of spiritual maturity necessary to receive what has been prepared for your life for much longer than you can imagine. You have been through seasons that seemed endless. You have crossed nights that seemed to have no end. You have carried silences too heavy to explain to anyone. And you have kept inside your heart hopes that you did not even dare to speak out loud, for fear that they would disappear before becoming real. But what I need you to understand right now, in this moment, is that nothing you have lived has been in vain. Absolutely nothing has been wasted, and each fragment of pain, each period of waiting, each tear that fell in silence was carefully kept and transformed into fuel for what is about to move in your life with a speed and a precision that will leave you speechless. Do not turn off this video. Do not leave it for later. Do not believe the voice that says you can come back another time, because this window is open now, and what will be said here was prepared specifically for this moment of your journey, for this exact crossing of time and space where you find yourself today, with all your unanswered questions, with all your sleeping expectations, with all your faith that sometimes wavers but never completely goes out, because that flame that still pulses inside you is exactly the sign that what is coming has not yet arrived, but it is already on its way with your name written on it. Something is moving right now behind the scenes of your life that you still cannot see with your physical eyes, but that your spirit already recognizes, and that is why you felt that impulse to click on this video. That is why something inside you said to stay, not to scroll, to give full attention to this moment, because when the spirit recognizes a genuine calling, it responds even before the mind understands why. And this sensitivity you carry, this ability to perceive what lies beyond the visible is not common, it is not ordinary, and it must not be ignored. Stay until the end of this video, because what will be revealed here needs to arrive whole into your heart, and those who remain until the end will feel something that goes beyond any passing emotion. They will feel the real and living presence of God's love descending upon them like a covering, like a warmth that begins in the chest and expands through the entire being. And this experience will change the way you see everything that is happening in your life from this moment forward. There is inside you a hope that has survived everything, that has resisted disappointments, that has remained lit even when circumstances did everything to suffocate it, and you have kept inside your heart hopes that you did not dare to pronounce out loud. But this hope is not weakness, it is not naivety, it is not a lack of contact with reality. It is the most concrete evidence that you were created for something greater than what you are experiencing now. That the purpose planted in you since before your birth is still alive, still in the process of manifestation, still awaiting the exact moment to emerge with a force that will surprise even the people around you. You have already felt that you were close to something great, but that something always seemed to delay it, that the pieces came close to fitting together, but at the last moment, something changed, that doors would open halfway, but never completely. And this feeling of being almost but never fully there is not a persecution, it is not a punishment, it is not a sign that you do not deserve what you are waiting for. It is part of a refinement process that was making you capable of sustaining what is coming. Because there are blessings that cannot be delivered before the person is prepared to carry them without being destroyed by them, and the time you spent waiting was making you exactly that person. The feeling that you arrived too late, that opportunities have passed, that windows closed before you could enter through them, that feeling is an illusion built by the limitation of human perspective, because from where you stand, seeing only the fragment of time that earthly life allows, it is impossible to see the full extent of what is being woven for your story. But there is a vision that surpasses yours and that sees the whole, that sees the beginning and the end at the same time. And from that perspective, what seems like delay is positioning, what seems like silence is preparation, and what seems like an end is actually the instant immediately before the greatest beginning you have ever experienced. Before we continue, I need to ask you something very important, because this message needs to reach other souls who, just like you, are in a moment of waiting, of doubt, or of searching. And you can be the instrument for that to happen in a very simple way. If this video has been useful to you so far, if you felt something move inside you while you were listening to these words, take this moment to subscribe to the channel, leave your like on this video, and write the word Amen in the comments as a declaration that you are here, that you are present, that you are ready to receive everything that is being prepared for your life. If you desire to connect even more deeply with your spirituality and deepen your faith journey in a practical and transformative way, the digital book titled Walking with Jesus may be exactly what you need at this moment of your life, because it contains 60 days of prayer, learning, and real and progressive changes that will lead you through a spiritual experience that goes beyond the emotional and takes you to a place of true encounter with the divine, with teachings that will help you live with purpose, to prosper in every area of your existence, and to have a spiritual experience so rich and so deep that it will become indescribable. And this special edition is available for a limited time only. So do not let this moment pass without taking advantage of this opportunity. The link is pinned in the first comment below this video. There is a level of life waiting for you beyond what you can visualize right now. A level where your prayers no longer stay suspended in the air, but find answers with a clarity that eliminates any shadow of doubt. A level where purpose is not just an abstract concept, but a living force that guides every decision, every step, every choice you make throughout your day. And reaching that level does not require you to be perfect, does not require you to have everything resolved, does not require you to arrive without scars or without doubts. It requires only that you say yes, that you place yourself in a position to receive, that you open your arms instead of crossing them defensively before what is coming. The willingness to receive is in itself an act of courage, because receiving means trusting in something you cannot yet see completely, means taking a step toward what you feel but cannot prove, means choosing to believe even when the evidence around you points in another direction, and that choice, that apparently simple act of opening yourself to what is coming, has the power to trigger a series of invisible movements that will begin to reorganize the circumstances around you in a way that will seem impossible to explain to anyone who has not seen where you came from. Think about everything you have already crossed to get here. The situations that seemed definitive but that transformed, the moments when you were convinced there was no way out and a way out appeared from where you least expected. The encounters that changed the direction of your life in ways you could never have planned. Everything that tried to destroy you but ended up making you stronger than you were before going through it. And notice that there is no pattern of accident in all of this. There is a pattern of care. There is an intelligence operating behind every detail of your story that has not failed once, that has not abandoned your process even when you felt completely alone inside it. You were watched during each of those seasons. Every tear was counted, every struggle was witnessed. Every moment you got up after falling was recorded with an appreciation that you still cannot fully measure, because what you call survival, what you describe as simply having managed to keep going, is actually a demonstration of an inner strength that was being built specifically for the level you are about to reach. And that strength was not yours before you went through the things you went through. It was forged inside you, during exactly the moments you would have preferred to avoid. There is a different rhythm settling now around your life, a subtle but real acceleration that is already moving pieces that have been still for a long time. And you may not yet perceive visually what is happening. You may still be looking at the same circumstances as always and wondering if anything is actually changing. But what happens behind the scenes before a turning point is never visible to those who are inside the process. Transformation always begins at the level that eyes cannot reach, and only becomes perceptible when it is already in full irreversible movement, when the doors are already open and the path is already laid before you with a clarity that requires no explanation. The love that is reaching you in this moment is not distant or symbolic. It is not a comforting idea you embrace when you need strength and abandon when you feel safe. It is an active, constant, intelligent and personal force that knows exactly where you are keeping your deepest pains, that knows the rooms of your heart that you keep closed because you are afraid to look at what is inside, and it is not waiting outside those doors to judge or condemn you for what you have hidden. It is waiting to transform, to restore, to return to you the version of yourself that existed before fear taught you to shrink. Every area of your life that seems blocked, every relationship that seems stagnant, every project that seems stuck in place, every dream that seems to have lost its breath over time, all of them are subject to a movement of unblocking that begins the moment you choose to truly open yourself, the moment you stop defending yourself from what is coming and begin to receive it with open hands. And this openness is not naivety, it is not carelessness, it is not a lack of discernment. It is the wisest posture a human being can assume when they realize there is a greater force operating in their favor with a competence that surpasses any human capacity for control or planning. Imagine the love of God not as an abstract idea you need to strain to feel, but as a living, constant, and powerful current moving toward you right now, washing through every place where fear tried to settle, clearing every corner where confusion created fog, warming every part of you that grew cold during the seasons of waiting and silence. And as this current moves forward, it does not only comfort, it strengthens, it directs, it equips, it transforms the substance of what you are on the inside in a way that eventually manifests as concrete and visible change in the world around you. The peace you are feeling now, or that is beginning to grow in you as these words reach your heart, is not a passive peace that immobilizes you. It is an active peace that stabilizes you as it moves you, that anchors you as it advances you, that gives you the serenity necessary to make the courageous decisions the next level of your life will require of you. And this peace is not achieved by effort or attained by merit. It is received. It is a gift that arrives when you finally stop fighting what is coming and begin to trust the process that has been conducted with much more wisdom than your limited vision can grasp. The moment has come to make a choice, not a choice between good and evil, not a choice between right and wrong, but a choice between continuing to wait outside what has been prepared for you, or taking the step that moves you into the current that is already in motion. And that step does not need to be grand to be real. It does not need to be accompanied by complete security to be legitimate. It does not need to be taken without trembling to be valid, because what qualifies a step is not the absence of fear but the presence of intention, not the certainty of the result, but the willingness to move even without guarantees. And you have arrived at this moment with exactly what is necessary to take that step right now. Declare out loud at this exact moment that you are ready, that you receive what is being sent to your life, that you say yes to the purpose that was planted in you, that you open your heart without armor, without defense, without the need to understand everything before trusting, and notice what happens inside you when those words leave your mouth with intention. Notice how something moves in your spirit, how a resistance begins to yield, how a weight you did not even know you were carrying begins to lift, because words spoken with alignment do not float in the air without consequence. They activate, they unlock, they set in motion what was waiting for exactly that signal to begin to manifest. What is coming into your life will not arrive gradually and almost imperceptibly. It will arrive with clarity, with force, with a presence that leaves no doubt that something fundamental has changed. And you will look back at this moment, at this video, at this specific instant when you chose to stay and listen to the end, and you will recognize that it was here that the turning point began, not in some dramatic and cinematic moment, but in this quiet and apparently ordinary moment when you said yes with your whole heart, when you chose presence over distraction, when you chose to receive instead of pulling away. Every battle you faced had its measure, every pressure you endured had its limit, every long night you crossed had its dawn, and you arrived here, not in spite of all of that, but through all of it, tempered, refined, strengthened in ways you do not yet fully understand. But that will become evident as the next chapter of your life begins to unfold before you, with a richness and a depth that are only possible for those who went through the process you went through without giving up on themselves along the way. The blessings that are on their way are not only for you, they will be visible around you. They will speak through your story. They will give the people who observe you living proof that waiting has its reward, that the faith that does not abandon is the faith that sees fulfillment, that there is a faithfulness operating beyond what eyes can see, that does not fail those who choose to trust, even when the entire environment seems to be shouting that it is time to give up. And your story will become a landmark, not only for you, but for all those who will be touched by it. Father, we have arrived at this moment together, myself and every soul that stayed until here, every heart that chose to remain present when it could have been distracted, that chose to listen when it could have ignored, that chose to trust when it could have resisted. And in this instant I lift before you each of those hearts with the certainty that they did not arrive here by accident, that this moment was prepared with care, that what was said here was heard not only by the ears, but by the spirit of each person present. And I ask that your presence, which is already here, which has never left, which has never withdrawn, make itself felt in a way so real and so personal that each one leaves this video different from how they arrived, not because words have that power in themselves, but because you used them as a vehicle to reach every heart that needed to be reached on this day, at this hour, at this exact moment that will never again be exactly this one. May every blockage be removed. May every dream that seemed dead be resurrected. May every relationship that needs healing begin to receive that care. May every area of provision that was closed begin to open. May every path that seemed to have no way out reveal a direction that was not visible before. And may the peace that you give, the one that surpasses all human understanding, be the experience of each one of those who stayed until the end of this video, as a sign of your love, as a confirmation that they were heard, as a promise that what is coming is greater than everything that was left behind. If this message reached your heart today, if you felt something move inside you while watching this video, write in the comments where you are watching this video from, your city, your country, and write the word Amen as a declaration that you received what was said here, that you are standing, that you are ready, that your season of waiting is coming to an end and a new season is beginning now, marked by movement, by clarity, by provision, and by a presence of love that does not abandon and does not fail, has never failed and will never fail you.